So in my time playing Risk of Rain 2, I've done some funny builds and basically pushed myself to the absolute limits Risk of Rain offers on Acrid with Eclipse, Simulacrum, hell, even Prismatic Trials from time to time. But I still find myself leaving my favorite acid-spewing doggo for different characters because, well, I don't get challenged as much as I need to. Combine that with me having a hefty sum of mysteriously earned lunar coins, I say I should make my own challenge. And like every good challenge, there are rules. Yay. So there are 4 main rules. Number 1 is that every stage except for stage 5, I have to hit the Newt Shrine and take 2 items from the first set of items, so I can't just re-roll to get stuff I want. Rule 2 is that I can't just use the cleanse pools and fun time beads do not count. The point of this challenge is to be forced to use weird and random items from the Lunar Bazaar that take away bits and pieces of my character. It would kind of be lame to just cop out and grab these beads. 3 is the equipments are kind of a special case because I don't think being tied down to one specific equipment is very fun, but I also don't want to be able to just drop it in the next stage. So the idea is for the entirety of the next stage after I get it, I will have to use it once and I will have to keep it into the stage after that, and then I can drop it and grab another equipment. Number 4 is I have to pick up every pod on the map, lunar or void. There was another rule that I had, but during the making of the script, it just kind of died. My computer just gave up on me, so it's no longer here and I forget what it was. So I'm definitely forgetting one, but let's just get into it. The first game was a bit of a test run for me, considering I only grabbed 1 item per stage and it was the Defiant Gouge. But that didn't last long because I forgot to hit the Newt Shrine, killing the run at the abandoned aqueducts. Remember that for later. And we don't talk about 1.5. Run 2 is a bit better planned and more interesting, but I'll skip most of it and feed it to you straight. I ended up grabbing 2 brittle crowns in stage 1, and in one of the more interesting moves of the run, I grabbed a purity and egocentrism. On the second stage, adding a ticking clock to my run.
I'm king of the world, Jack. I'm king of the world.
Stage 3, I grabbed a Gesture of the Drowned and a Convergence. And at this point, I forgot to hit the Newt Shrine again. It's been about 1 minute and I've already forgotten. So at this point I got 2 options. Either trash the run and start over, or I ball harder. I chose the latter and decided as penance for my forgetfulness, I would have to grab all 5 items from the next shrine, forcing me to loop and grab an additional 2 items per stage.
In order to make amends with the almighty Newt.
I did that, hit the shrine, grabbing a few items that luckily didn't get me killed immediately, but decided in the next stage to do something a little goofy and try to beat the Void boss. After grabbing a purity and a shaped glass, it didn't end in victory. Run 3 was a tragic one and started with me getting a spinal cord that I keep dropping everywhere. After beating stage 1, I decided to grab a Hellfire Tonic and a Purity. Now for those of you wondering why Purity keeps showing up, Purity is actually very good for Acrid normally. If you don't plan on relying on proc chances like Ukulele or ATG, you basically get to be a machine gun of spit, and it pairs extremely well with Visions of Heresy, giving you no reason to go any closer than, I don't know, 30 feet away from them. Speaking of Visions of Heresy, I ended up getting in the next Newt Shrine, and I realized that I just kind of forget that I even have them most of the time, along with a Transcendence. A bit of a side tangent here is I'm condensing 6 hours of footage right now, so I'm really glossing over most of the video game right now, so I'm not driven totally insane. Back to the run, and I ended up getting a Corpse Bloom and a Spinal Tonic, which gave me a negative effect both the fucking times I used it, man. Fucking Spinal Tonics. I also forgot where the new shrine spawned on Bowser's lava level, so I had to look it up. And in the end, I swapped that stupid fucking Spinal Tonic for a Spinal Tonic. Riveting. And feeling cocky that I had 2 Symbiotic Scorpions and it was doing extremely well besides its debuffs, I grabbed a Brittle Crown and a Defiant Gouge. And just to show you the pain of what happened, I'm just gonna show you most of what just happened to me entirely. I basically had to keep swapping my equipment 3 times in a fucking row. It should have been 4, Mr. Redditor. I see you over there talking about how I missed that one. I know I missed it too, and I saw it. Either way, I didn't see it at the time, so it doesn't count, and I mean, it doesn't matter anyway, because I didn't even beat the game. That would be a really weird... It'd be a really weird challenge if I just, beat it on run 3 and just, kept going. That'd actually be kind of a funny, April Fool's video. So without the Spinal Tonic to give me a buff to compensate for the amount of debuffs I had, I kind of just ended up dying because I was stuck with a Hellfire Tonic. Liar! For run 4, I'm going to save some time and just say all the items I got before Mithrix and just tell you how I used it, because this one's so painful to watch knowing the end. I ended up with 2 Visions of Heresy because I had a Recycler and a Gesture, 2 Corpse Blooms, the Spine of my Enemies, the Forbidden Pineapple, and the Strides of Heresy. So, if you couldn't see, I had 2 Corpse Blooms, an Akuna's Opinion, and Strides of Heresy. The strategy was basically just be perma healing and just raking in that HP and just permanently be shooting off Nakuna's skulls, which was honestly a really nice build, and I want to do it again sometime because it's really fun. And I was strong enough to bust out the pillars and get to the Mithrix battle, crushing through most of his phases without much of an issue. The biggest problem was trying to time my Strides of Heresy, because I'm not very good with Strides of Heresy since I never fucking use the thing. But on the last phase, I died. I have no idea how I died, and honestly, if you guys have any idea, I've been
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
been replaying this so many times trying to figure this out. One rage quit later, and I'm back on at 1 in the morning.
Corpse Bloom, and...
Ugh. Tired Ape. What a gross, inconceivably evil creature. This one was painful in a different way. I'm just gonna gloss over most of these items because all you need to know is this, and this was the dumbest idea I had, and I couldn't move, and I loathed doing this for the 10 minutes I even did it for. And I swore off Stone Poultred for good, because this is actually the most boring thing you could even comprehend. I was watching a video while doing this, and I was still bored out of my mind. So this last run, do I beat the game on this? Yes. Like, of course I do. Like, why would I just end at run 6 if I didn't beat it? That'd be so fucking dumb. Like, that'd be so weird. Like, instead of ending it on like 10 or 5 or something, no, let's end it on 6. I'm done with 6. That's where I end it. So let's go over my build and see why I won. Besides me being awesome, handsome, and great, of course. Before this, I have a secret to tell you. There's actually more 0.5s out there. The elusive 5.5 is there in the wild. Majestic. 6 had one thing going for it, and it's just that I got mad lucky. I ended up getting Shaped Glass and Transcendence, basically meaning I got double the damage and didn't lose out on the HP, except for, I mean, technically I did, but it was just shield instead of HP. I also ended up with a Plasma Shrimp, which means I just crunched my enemies, just absolutely slammed them, absolutely just, you know? I also ended up with a Shatter Spleen, a Behemoth, a Polylute, a Laser Scope. In essence, I was ballin'. I did get a few questionable items in my build, like a Hard Light Afterburner with a Strides of Heresy and an Interstellar Desk Plant. And although I think the healing could have been imperative to my 2 drone success, I decided to scrap it, which turned out to be an amazing idea because the white item Cauldron turned out to be Lensmaker Glasses. Perfect luck. And one of the legendaries turned out to be a Laser Sight, so I grabbed that as well. Even with the convergence, I was just too powerful and just too strong to die, so all I lost was the Effigy of Grief for a Hellfire Flask, which I ended up getting a mountain of use out of because the Strides of Heresy can be activated while the Hellfire Flask is activated, so you basically can't be hit, and you're doing a ton of damage to anything around you. Mithrix died, I flew, I got to the pad, and I beat Risk of Rain 2, grabbing 2 items per stage. One last thing before you see me go, if you want to see me do this with 5 items instead, I really need to see this video is received well, so if you like, comment, and sub, and all that good stuff, you will see me suffer. And with that said, I really hope you have a great day.